Welcome to Aquarian Diary, where we discuss issues around the emerging age of Aquarius. I'm your host, John Irving. Thank you for joining me. Greetings all, it's November 6th, 2022. If you are a spiritual seeker, at some point you are probably going to engage with other people who also appear to be spiritual seekers, or to basically explore the spiritual community. This in itself can be quite an interesting experience. The spiritual community often attracts people who are a little bit quirky or different because they're generally in a minority, and they don't typically hold mainstream views about a lot of issues. So by definition, they are a little bit outsiderish. And one of the things I have encountered over many years was that you have people in the spiritual community who subscribe to various spiritual ideologies. Now, personally, I have never really attached myself to any specific spiritual ideology in any kind of significant or permanent way. I have contemplated them and explored them out of curiosity, but that's it. Because I have kind of a questioning mind, I will inevitably find contradictions or flaws in any particular philosophy, or it may simply just not resonate with me and my own personal experience. But some people like to become devoted to particular worldviews. And one of the things that I have experienced is that when interacting with such people, if you question their worldview or their beliefs, and some traditions actually promote doing this, by the way, which I think is a good thing, but sometimes when you question someone's beliefs, they will take it very personally, as if it's an attack or an insult, almost like you're victimizing them by questioning their belief system. Many people's identities are very wrapped up in their beliefs, as if their beliefs are real. I'll get into this a bit more later. Bear with me. Now, when somebody responds that way to having their belief system questioned, obviously they have an egoic attachment to those beliefs. And from my perspective, we do not want to have egoic attachments like that. And there are a myriad of different spiritual philosophies out there. Some are focused around particular books or doctrines or traditions. Personally, I adopt whatever resonates with me and my own personal experience, and that makes logical sense to me. But my point is that in the spiritual community, you will find a lot of people who, when pressed a little bit, and I don't mean doing it in a rude way, I just mean doing it in a normal conversational way, when these people are pressed a little bit, they can react quite defensively to your probing lines of inquiry. We are all trying to find out what the truth is, so pretty much everything should be on the table, except obviously really obscene or, from my perspective, dark things, which I have no interest in pursuing. So I see any kind of egoic attachment to a belief system as a trap or a blockage to your progress. And to be completely honest with you, over many years, I have often thought that belief systems and ideologies are intentionally designed to limit the expansion of consciousness of human beings. And I mean human beings collectively as a species. That they constrain our perception and understanding of reality so that we are kind of basically locked into some kind of hierarchical system, or even somewhat of a materialistic or even patriarchal system or paradigm, which, like I said, limits or controls our ability to perceive and experience higher truth. So in my own case, being ideologically agnostic has served me very well. It's not easy because if you do adopt an ideology, you may not have to think about various things very hard because it's basically being handed to you. But that just doesn't work for me. So the point of all this is that if somebody reacts to being challenged, and I am not talking about challenging someone aggressively at all or with any level of negative intent, but if somebody reacts very egoically to that, clearly there's a problem from my perspective. In effect, an ideology can be like a crutch, and crutches can sometimes be very useful. But ideally, eventually, we would not have to rely on using crutches anymore. The importance of this topic from a spiritual perspective simply cannot be overstated. We are not our beliefs. This is a very fundamental and deeply rooted misconception, with tendrils that go into every fiber of our being. This distinction between beliefs and who and what we truly are. We exist outside of and independent of our beliefs. And because beliefs are very closely related to ego, because that's how ego defines itself, unraveling this intricate miasma of illusions can be extremely challenging and take many lifetimes to accomplish. Even as we contemplate them and unravel them and separate them from our being, we discover even more subtle, finer elements of beliefs that define our being. And as we try and seek to become a purer expression of higher consciousness, of the source of all things, it is these tendrils that we will continue to pull on. It's a bit like peeling back the layers of an onion. They go deeper and deeper into the core of our understanding. Again, fundamentally, we exist independent of our beliefs, and they are completely actually unnecessary for our existence. Because when we connect to our higher self and to spirit directly, we are flooded with the consciousness of the Creator. And the Creator's consciousness is omnipotent and omnipresent and vastly more complex and powerful than whatever reality we have created in our infinitesimally small minds. But the ego comes into play here because we define ourselves based on our beliefs. We are inclined to cling to them, even when blatant contradictions clearly demonstrate that in fact they are invalid. And so this struggle between the ego that wants to define itself as being distinct and separate, and the Creator, which encompasses the entire universe and more, goes on and on and on. It's my perspective that as we go further down the spiritual path, reality will reflect back to us these contradictions in increasingly dramatic ways. And so many people are puzzled by why they have particular experiences that to them do not necessarily seem to be relevant or necessary. Spirit, our spiritual beings, are showing us how we have limited our consciousness and our awareness. And we have to decide to let go of false and limiting beliefs in order to be more all-encompassing and less limited. So this question of ideologies is very closely related to what I've just been discussing. Ideologies are a rigid framework, a set of defined beliefs that we can subscribe to, which may alleviate doubt from our minds, at least temporarily, but at the same time trap us in a limited and incomplete experience of reality. For a long time now, I have been aware that I use the word reality with two definitions. One is what we actually experience, which is definitely real. Even if it's based on illusions, what we experience is still real. And then there's a higher reality, which is based on higher spiritual truth. And the two are often not the same. Both are real from our perspective. And I notice that I've been doing that here as well. Perhaps I should simply say higher truth when referring to spiritual reality and use the word reality to describe what we experience on Earth. And I've been meaning to address this. It just didn't seem like it was worth devoting a whole episode to, so here you go. Thanks for your support. It's helpful to me if you subscribe, like, and share this video if you find it useful. I'll put links in the episode description that are relevant. All the best. Take care. We'll talk to you again soon. Bye for now.